very easily also extend it to yourself. This is one tag lib just to show you how it works. All tag libs need to have a method called register, so that the parser knows which tags you provide and a little bit about how you're going to implement them. So this basically is a Fibonacci tag, which gets in the content. If there were other parameters that we allowed to the tag, they would come as params. And what we basically do is get all the params in, process them in any way you want, and return whatever result you want. So it's pretty easy. Also, you can get to the parser, which can tell you a lot about the user and the context and so on. And we can use it. Just say use funmat, which is what the tag lib was called. And we have a tag here, O2 Fibonacci 8, which returns 21. Also, these templates have variables. You have by default the context and the query. So you have access to everything default in the template system. Of course, you can parse them without these, but default you have this. And also you can do ifs and else ifs and all kinds of, you can do functions and you can do for eaches and everything. So you can say like this, auto for each movie, in Movie Manager list movies by year. And you can build pretty clean HTML without all the fuss and all the unreadable stuff. Oh, sorry. A little bit more about the object model. Earlier we were looking at how you can manage the object, but the object model itself is kind of neat. It creates accessors on the fly. We have these basic data types for each accessor: the bit, int, float, epoch, date, object. And an object is kind of interesting because that is that if you say that I have a, as we saw in the movies, if I say that, okay, I have cast, which is an object, then that it will be interpreted automatically. And we have characters and varchar and text. And all these accessors can also be lists. You can say you have a hash list or array list. Of course, the list can be of any data type, also objects, and they can be multilingual. So you can say you have a multilingual title for a movie, for instance, and yeah. And this takes the object relational mapping to the database completely out of the picture. But still, there's a clear reference from the objects to the database. If you have an O2 object, then you will have an O2 object table in the database. And also, they're cascading. So when the person inherits from the object, you will have the data specific for the object person in the database, but not duplicated, of course. And there's a full graphical user interface for constructing these objects, these classes, which Håkon is going to show you afterwards. So if you don't want to, you can just use this, but of course you can do it manually. You can program it just as a regular if you want. There's full migration support, meaning that when you do updates in the data model on, say, a production or a test server or a development server, you can migrate it to your test server and to the production servers. And all the objects share these common features like the data fields, which is the ID and their name, the class name, create time, change time status, owner ID, if they're hidden, and so on. And also they have a set of controlling properties which let you say that if they're serializable, cacheable, revisionable, if they're multilingual, and so on. So, as I said before, we're just in the process of open sourcing this software, so we're kind of very newbies on this field, but we'll be releasing it as soon as we can. We could do it today, but the problem is you need to know a little bit about Utu in order to set it up. So we're hoping to have at least a package system which takes care of all the dependencies and just one script to set it up. And we plan to release it under the same condition as Prod itself. So before we go on to demonstrating a little bit, you can go to onsite.no/O2framework for a little bit more documentation about how the system works. And also we have a Facebook group, facebook.com/O2framework, and just recently added a Twitter hashtag O2framework. So keep looking for those, and we'll get it out soon. So let's see it in action. Hopefully. Yeah, I can hold it.
Okay, we have some problems with setting up the display here, so we'll have to take device level. Well, I'll show you that you can do quite a lot without writing much code at all if you have a very simple system where the objects can be created by website administrators in the backend. As an example, I'll use music, that is artists, albums, and tracks. It's a little bit hard to see here, but okay. So I'll create a track class here. And I'll give it just one field for now. And for simplicity, we'll just say that it's a variable character field. Then we create an album class. An album can have tracks. For now, we have to call the field track IDs. That's something we're planning on changing. Because the accessor that's created for this field returns the IDs of the field. In future, we'll change that to return the object, and we'll create also methods that will return the IDs, of course. And the type is the class name.
En kolon. Vad är det?
Separate.
Oh, nej. Jag tror det är fel.
Ta tillbaka den. Ta helt tillbaka. Nej, jag ska bara ta väck alla kolon.
And we must say that the list type is an array because there's more than one track ID per track. And let's see if this link works. Okay, so it's correct now. Finally, we have the artist object, and it contains albums. Also, list type array. object and we have created classes, but they also have to be creatable in the backend, and for that we have to register it and also generate templates.
In case I wasn't clear, this is just ordinary Perl object, Perl classes that you can use in any regard you want, not just in O2, but you can do it from other systems as well.
Okay, and I'm just using all the default values here to register and generate templates.
So what Håkon is doing here is just setting up everything with defaults, and this is what I meant when I said it's kind of rough. It's of course should be just one of the 99/1 rules. If you do it all the time, then you shouldn't have to do it. So, but it's basically just saying which kind of actions and which kind of templates are to be used with this class, and you can pretty much go along with the default values for everything. That's just in the beginning.
Yeah. And now let's go to the backend itself, to O2 admin as we call it, where you can create the actual objects. And our goal will be to display a web page that contains the artist object that we'll create, with all its albums and tracks. Is there music?
Yeah, I thought it. No, like that. So have we already made some categories? You can make new categories just by right-clicking and say new category. A category is just an object containing other objects.
Yeah, I'll start by creating the track objects. Since we made them creatable in O2 admin, we can choose them in this list. And as you see, O2 doesn't quite know what a label should be. For that we use a language variable files and cheated a little and just commented out what the values should be, so I can just remove these comments. And then hopefully when I reload this, yeah. I'll just create 2 tracks. We don't have time for more. And then we go to creating an album. That's here, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then we have to drag in the tracks. And finally, the artist objects.